Let's jump gears, folks. Friend Michael Lunsford joins the program. Michael, how you doing?
Moon, well, you know, we are here doing what we do, brother, trying to figure out what all these crazy people are up to.
Well, let me ask you a question. So I pick up my people that texted me last night, and I checked out some stuff, and all of a sudden, people ahead of the library board has all been fired down in the Denham area?
Yeah, so Livingston Parish
tell me
board.
what happened. Tell me what happened.
So, there's a gentleman's agreement that each member of the parish council gets one appointment to the library board. Well, lately, there's been a lot of drama created by a bunch of local leftists. We're not unfamiliar with that in other places, St. Tammany and Lafayette, or other areas where they show up, yell and scream and fuss and throw things and have a temper tantrum. Well, apparently the Livingston folks believe that if they appease these people, then perhaps they'll quiet down. And so they fired the entire board. Now, the repercussion of being fired came from the last meeting. They decided to move 5 vulgar books out of the children's section in Livingston Parish. 5, all in one shot. And next thing you know, all the crazy blue hair, purple hair, whatever kind of hair, rainbow hair people start going crazy and making phone calls. They said the budget was cut, which it wasn't. It was actually the budget was increased 2%. And they called it a cut because it was a cut in the rate of increase. I know you don't know anything about that kind of language, huh?
I see it every day with politicians.
Yeah. So the guy who made the motion to strip the board said that he has 2 priorities that he wants addressed. His name is Ricky Goff, by the way. Those 2 priorities are we have got to get these vulgar books out of the children's section, and we have got to cut the library's budget. Well, guess what the board just did at the last meeting? They got vulgar books out of the children's section, and they cut the rate of increase in the budget. Mm-hmm. So nothing's passing the smell test for me, Moon. All the things that they're saying that they want is what the board has been delivering, and yet they just completely fired all of them. Now, we had just gotten... just last month, I want to say, finally, we got one extra member to get the majority. And so they reelected a chairman. They got rid of the old guy that was there, that was holding the line. You know, you're a Nazi if you move books. Yeah. And so he got removed. I say removed. They had an election. They elected a new chairman. The new chairman wants to start getting these vulgar books away from the kids section. They're still in the library. You can still look at them if you want to. They're just not over there next to Harry Potter where someone will accidentally pick them up and hello, you know. So that's the goal. That's the stated goal. That's what they were doing. So it's a mystery to me why they would do this.
Yeah. Really so they fired. Okay, here's my question. What's the reasoning for firing the whole board? What is the reason they're given?
I told you, because they want to get the vulgar books out of the kids section and want to cut the budget. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So there was some budget debacle. They reduced the rate of increase for the budget. Well, the director said, well, I didn't get enough money, so I'm going to do, what do they call it? It's the Washington Monument thing where, oh, no, we're gonna shut down the most popular services we can get, or that we can, to make as much pain as we can in the community. So everyone calls the parish council complaining about how terrible the board is. Well, the director made the call. You remember when Barack Obama did this, when they shut down the government, he sent stormtroopers to the World War II outdoor park to prevent 90-year-old veterans from visiting the World War II memorial. You remember that?
Yep.
Well, that's what she's doing here in Livingston. And she said, okay, we're going to cancel the most popular thing we can to prove that these terrible budget cuts and the rate of increase have caused us undue harm. And so that's what's happened. The director has stirred up all of this. And her goal is to fire the board. We believe that the new board members have all been recommended by her. We've never heard any of these people. They're supposed to be super conservatives. They've never shown up to a Republican woman. They've never shown up to an RPEC meeting. They've never shown up to anything.
What? Who fired the board members? Who actually fired the board members?
Well, it's a 5-4 vote. So you walk in, there's a surprise. We're going to be removing the entire library board tonight. So 5 members were prepared. They had replacements ready to go. The 4 members that had the conservative appointees had no idea this was going on. And so they just,
sound like Louisiana politics right here. Sound like we right, and that's a really conservative area of the state is what blows my mind.
Yeah, it's a microcosm for what goes on everywhere. It really is. You're right. So anyway, so they removed them all. A couple of them managed to sneak back on if they had been brand new appointees. Now, another bit of color that this might inspire here is the director's review, and she's been pretty bad, and the library board members have not been happy with her. Her review is up next month, and so now that the entire library board is fired, who's going to give her employment review? So she'll get to keep her 6-figure salary. You see all this?
It kind of works out kind of nicely.
That does.
I'm surprised, though. I'm gonna be surprised knowing the people over there like I know them, and a lot of conservative, hardworking people, middle class people. Be surprised if this don't turn back on them. When's their next meeting? That would be the key.
The library meeting or the
next
meeting?
The next for either one of them.
Well, the library meeting is, I think it's supposed to be in a couple of weeks, but they may not have quorum because some of the people didn't get reappointed. So how do you get to quorum? If you have 9 members, you have to have 5. If you can't get 5 members there, you don't have a quorum. You can't have a meeting. Mm-hmm. So the council might have to meet again to get some more appointments done before they can meet quorum. It's crazy.
So let me ask you a question. Would it be
generally every couple of weeks?
Yeah, the council meeting would be the key. But you know how the councils are. They if they don't want to have a meeting and bring this stuff up, they won't. It almost sounds like a Buddy Mincy thing to me. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. It just and by the way, I didn't talk to you because I didn't really know who they were sending me. But that's what it sounded like. Some Buddy Mincy and them would pull. It does.
We're looking. Right now, we don't know who's pulling the strings. I will say this, that we knew who the 5 council members were going to be. We knew who the swing vote was going to be. So for the past week or so, we've had strong conservatives and donors calling these members saying, what are y'all doing? And they call me back and say, the most strange thing happened. They just said, leave us alone. We know what we're doing. They're not receptive to anything I have to say about this. It's the most bizarre, and that's the language I'm giving. It's the most bizarre thing. I've never had this happen before. So they knew what they were doing. They went into this eyes wide open with a plan.
But this is premeditated.
And, with a lot of this,
it's premeditated. There's no doubt about that.
Well, as with a lot of this, we still haven't figured out the motive. Why in the world? I mean, their verbal motives match what the board was doing, so it doesn't pass the smell test. So what were they really? What was the goal of all of this? And I think it was just drama created by the director to save her job. But that's a lot of drama to save somebody's job.
Yeah, but let me ask the question: if you don't have a board to review, then does the review have something to do with her keeping her job?
Yeah, it's an annual review. In fact, I think that officially it's a contract. Her contract has to be renewed, and it's up now. So whether they renew the contract or don't renew the contract would be determined at the next library board of control meeting.
If you can't have a meeting, does she just keep a contract? What does the bylaws say about that? Does she know she's not ahead of it, or she's not ahead of it anymore? Because there got to be some bylaws or something that says if it's not voted, do you just get to be do you have an interim? I mean, what happens?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer. If you don't have a quorum, does her contract expire? Does she get fired by default because there's no board to approve it? That's a really good question.
Well, I mean, it's something to look at. I mean, it's got to be something written. If nothing's written down and your contract expires on January 10th, which is today, if my contract expired on January 10th, and for me to have it renewed, nothing happens, it would seem like I wouldn't have a job.
Yeah.
I mean, she might have talked herself out of a job.
Well, that's we're going to add that to our list of public records requests.
Yeah. I would ask that. I would ask that question. I think that'd be a great question because maybe it's in there. Maybe you'll come across no problem. But if there's no ruse, you can't just keep them going either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So unbelievable. All right. Well,
yeah,
look, keep us up to date, because I think that area will rise up and decide if they don't like what's going on, they will definitely look into it.
It is, and a lot of these folks have ambitions for future office.
Sure.
And look, we had a lot of statewide organizations paying attention to this. I think John Kennedy kind of peeked in this direction for a minute from D.C.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, people are paying attention.
Yeah. All right, got to run. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. We'll take a break. Be right back.